Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily Live. We are back again, and today we have got all the United news for you again, including the future of Dean Henderson has been decided by Manchester United. At least that's according to reports in the British press this morning. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at all the latest, the other latest news as well, and answering some of your queries, questions, or if I've missed any stories, you guys can get them in those comments for me, and we'll discuss them here on AdamMcKola TV. So firstly, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, liking, commenting, sharing, and keeping it locked to the channel. We've got so much coming your way at the moment. It's daily content with United Daily Live every single day at 12 o'clock, apart from Mondays when it's at 10:30 in the evening, and then we have another daily upload every single day, every single week. On Mondays, it is the Gazette, the Premier League Gazette. On Tuesdays, it is the Rumourator. On Wednesdays, it is Master Debaters. On Thursday, the Weekly United. On Friday, is Straight Up MUFC, and that's what you're getting tonight with myself and D. On Saturday, you either get a special video like a tactics video, or like a future United 11 video, or a tier list, or a FIFA video. And on Sundays, you get the Pod to Know, where with myself and Mr. Stephen Allison. So make sure you're keeping it locked here on AdamMcKola TV for all things Manchester United and all things just random chat, because we love to chat here on AdamMcKola TV, and this is your channel as well. So make sure you're keeping it locked, you're subscribing, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing, just like Duty to Entertain, Manoj, Mark, Parth, Josh, Tanay, Pravin, Filth, Joe Cox, have all been in the comments. So thank you very much to you guys for joining us here on AdamMcKola TV. And like I was saying, today we're discussing Dean Henderson's future at Manchester United. It's something that we discussed before. It's something that I've gave my opinion on before. I think first things first, what we've got to say is Dean Henderson is a massively talented goalkeeper that everybody at Old Trafford, all of the fans, I think, should be as well excited by the prospects that this young man has. He's been doing incredibly well at Sheffield United in the Premier League, keeping clean sheets at the top level, helping Sheffield United become an unlikely battler for European football, and not just Europa League football, Champions League football as well. Sheffield United have been doing really, really well, and Dean Henderson is a big part of that. He's not the main part of that. He's not the main reason, but he's a very, very big part of that team. And he's a massively talented player who's only going to keep improving. He has made mistakes this season. Not many, but he has made a few. And I think those are the things he has to iron out. Of course, goalkeepers will make mistakes because, as soon as a goalkeeper makes a mistake, often leads with a goal in the back of their net. If you're a defender or you're a midfielder or you're an attacker and you make a mistake, people generally forget about them quite quickly unless it's punished with a goal. But for goalkeepers, they are punished very severely now. I do think he needs to keep developing, and I do think keeping him at Sheffield United is the right thing to do. And that is what Manchester United are potentially planning. As we hear, ESPN and Daily Mail and everyone else has jumped onto the reports as well. ESPN are claiming United will look to secure another loan move for the highly rated keeper as they continue to draw up a plan for his long-term future. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to keep faith with 29-year-old De Gea next season, despite a number of high-profile mistakes this term, and are aware that Henderson will not want to return to be his understudy. So for people thinking that maybe Dean Henderson can return and be happy to be back up to David De Gea is a possibility. Well, in fact, it's not. And when we're comparing their season stats, David De Gea's season stats, United have conceded 33 in 32 games. And he's got 10 clean sheets. Now, in 2 less games, Dean Henderson's got 1 more clean sheet and he's conceded 9 goals less. So there's some stats for you in all competitions this season. Now, I think that's, you look at the way Sheffield United play, you look at what Chris Wilder's done, they're not as open as Manchester United, or they're not as open as Manchester United have been. But nevertheless, if you're a goalkeeper at United, you'd probably expect to keep more clean sheets than Sheffield United's goalkeeper, do you know what I mean? And it's not all David De Gea's fault, of course it's not, but he has made a number of mistakes, so I can totally understand then why some people would come out and say, well, look, we should be picking Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson should be our first choice goalkeeper because, he's performing. He's one of the best in the league. David De Gea isn't performing. But I think it'd just be a little bit too soon for Manchester United to pull the trigger on that move. And I think these reports that United are happy to loan him out again. They do view the goalkeeper as a viable replacement for David De Gea, but want him to further his development while gaining more valuable top flight experience first. And if Sheffield United are in Europe, they're already in the Premier League definitely next season, but if they're in Europe as well, that's even better for them. So let's see what happens with this one. But so far, the news is United are happy to loan him out. It doesn't necessarily say United are happy to loan him out to Sheffield United again, or are looking just solely at Sheffield United. But Sheffield United already secured their Premier League future, fighting for a place in Europe. He's found a really good home there. He's settled down well. He's got a great relationship with the fans. He's been in the Championship with them. Now he's been in the Premier League with them. He's had that progress with them. Why would you rock the boat by saying, all right, we're going to keep him out on loan, but let's take him out of Sheffield United and send him somewhere else? The only way I think that would happen is if Sheffield United said, well, we want to get a first choice goalkeeper in, and we don't want to be relying on a loan. But if we give them Dean Henderson for the whole season, then surely they're not going to look to rock the boat either and replace him, because he's doing fantastically well for them. Now at the moment his contract lasts until 2022, but United are considering offering him a fresh terms to acknowledge his increased value to the club, and I think that would probably make sense. Get a new contract signed up, maybe bring him back in the summer, who knows, bring him back in the summer, get contract signed up, send him back out to Sheffield United. I think that would be the most sensible thing to be doing with Dean Henderson. And I'm glad this news is out. I'm glad United aren't bringing him back and saying, all right, let's force you to fight with Romero and De Gea. It doesn't benefit Dean Henderson. Yes, he might be training with United and he might be back in the first team. And who knows, there might be a few injuries in him. But if he sits on the bench and he just plays in Europa and the cup competitions, what's the point? He could have done that for Sheffield United as their first choice goalkeeper and played in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So there's no point, and I don't think we just need to rush David De Gea out the door, because actually he's made a few mistakes, yes, but he's also kept a fair few clean sheets this season. And I think the level of his performance after those mistakes wasn't bad. The Blur, with a surprising opinion, says possibly sell him to Sheffield United with a buyback option. I wouldn't be open to that one at all. It takes the power out of your hands, and a lot of those buyback options, they kind of, sometimes they expire after the first contract or after that initial contract. Now, you don't want to lose control of Dean Henderson's future, especially when you hear the likes of Chelsea and stuff are interested in him. Now, I think Dean Henderson's, we should be giving him a new contract. I'm not sure what contract he's on at the minute, but we should be sign him up to a long-term deal, send him away. We've got a super chat, so here we go. Stephen Willock says, what's Dean's distribution like? As that's David's let down for me a lot of the time. Loan him back out, but keep him for the future, locked down long term. Now, they play a little bit different, and they have a little bit more players at the back, and a lot of their play comes out from the back. Obviously, at times, United end up with two centre-backs really deep, and it'd be interesting to see how that, I'm not saying Sheffield United are a Route 1 team, because they're not at all. It'd be interesting to see that change of style. United's a lot quicker, looking to move the ball out of play, out of defence faster, whereas with that, you can slow things down a little bit with Sheffield United. Would that make a difference to him? But thank you for your super chat. I'm going to get some stats now on Dean's distribution, actually, seeing as you've come in with that. Thank you very much for your support on the channel, though, Stephen. I really do appreciate it. And I agree as well. Loan him back out and keep him for the future, but lock down that long-term future of his. Thank you to Stephen Willocks for that. And thank you to everybody that's been involved on the channel and been supporting the channel, whether you've been joining, getting your super chats in, or keeping it locked on, just simply, liking and subscribing and all that. Thank you very much. So his past success percentage in the Premier League is 35.3%. Now, when you compare that to David De Gea, David De Gea's pass completion percentage is, in the Premier League, 71.3%. So you already see there, look, there's a massive difference between the pass success rate in the two goalkeepers, almost double for David De Gea. So we got 35.3% success rate for Dean Henderson in 27 games. And in 29 games in the Premier League, David De Gea's pass success rate is 71.3%. Now, their rating, their Who Scored rating, is Dean's is 6.75, and David De Gea's is 6.49. So even that's very close. But obviously, David De Gea's pass success rate is a lot higher. Now, is that because Sheffield United go more, like they play more long balls than Manchester United? So as a result, therefore, less of Dean Henderson's passes are going to be completed. So then you would see a complete change in style then, when it come to him trying those. So if he was trying more short passes, maybe his pass success rate would be a lot higher, like David De Gea's. It'd be interesting to look into that breakdown of stats. But David De Gea's pass success is better. But again, like the blur says, it depends on how the team plays. A lot of David's passes might be to two centre-backs, whereas a lot of Dean's passes might be to two central midfielders, and they might not win their aerial battles, for example. So yeah, you do look at that. But if he's told to kick it long, yeah, of course, mate, we get it. I just don't see how Henderson can take going out on loan again. I bet he's tired of it, says Ross. I don't think so. He seems like a man that has his head screwed on. He's got tunnel vision. He wants to play for Man United. He said, I want to be at Manchester United for the long term. Unless I play 300-400 games for them, my career's been a failure. And that kind of outlook is admirable. But also when you consider, he's looking at his future in the long-term basis. He's not thinking, I need to be ready now. And actually, at 23 years old, yes, some goalkeepers will be ready. And he may be ready, but he's not the finished article yet. And there's no need to rush him. Goalkeepers can play well into their 30s. And if in 2-3 years' time or 2 years' time we bring him back into the mix, now he's competing with David De Gea as a 24, 25-year-old. David De Gea is 30, 31. Becomes a little bit of a battle there. But even then, I can't see us rushing him back. There's no need to rush him back, especially when he's so happy where he is and things are going so well where he is. Busby says, is Dean Henderson better than the first choice World Cup finalist and Europa League winner Sergio Romero? That should be the first question, in my opinion. I don't think that necessarily should, because I think the first question you should ask yourself is Sergio Romero good enough to be Manchester United's number one? I personally feel the answer to that is no. A lot of you may be surprised by that, but I personally feel the answer to that is no. So if the answer to that is no, then is Dean Henderson good enough? Right now, maybe not, but in the future, I believe he will be. So surely you go with Dean Henderson in that perspective. I don't think Romero will ever be anything more than a number two, unfortunately. Good morning from the East Coast, says Football with Rishi. Thank you very much, man. When I finally figure out how to do these Skype calls into the show as well, we'll be getting that on. And make sure you're checking out Football with Rishi as well. Check out his channel. Prakar Nigam says, keepers develop late. He's got a lot of time. And every time I hear the door, guys, you may look at me, look a little bit nervously towards the door. That's because we got a text yesterday saying the electric guys are coming round to have a look at something. I don't know what's going on. They're coming round to have a look at something, and they could come between 12 and 8. Now, the thing for me is I'm filming between 12 and half 12, United Daily. I'm filming again after that, straight up MUFC. I'm filming a video with Steve after that as well. So I'm going to be on edge in all these videos, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are they going to knock? So if they knock, I may just mute it, put the Dean Henderson picture, thumbnail up on the screen, go tell them what's what, tell them give me 5 minutes, come and finish the screen, and then let them in. So this is what's going on in lockdown. We're all on the edge here. So yeah, we're discussing Dean Henderson's future here on AdamMcKola TV. Thank you very much for everyone getting involved. Glenn, Damien, I agree with you on Romero and Hendo. Henderson could play for England before United, says Mark. That's a very, very big possibility. I wouldn't be surprised to see him play in the Euros next year. And with that being said, you then build him up for that. So I assume he'd be involved in the campaign leading up to that, the friendlies and stuff, if there is any football, of course. didn't even get a notification. What's up, McKola? Says Vish, what's going on? Vish, hope you're well, mate. Good morning from Jamaica, says Alex Rush. Morning, mate. Hope you're doing well over that side. Do you think either Chelsea have better youth than United right now? Is Lampard just a bit braver with playing youth players? I think Lampard being braver with playing youth players is a little bit of a myth, to be totally honest with you. Tammy Abraham's around the same age as Marcus Rashford, and has been playing in the Premier League and Championship for a long, long time. He's not a young lad. Mason Mount's a young lad, fair enough. I think Tomori's been a good shout, and Reece James, but it's not like he's playing a whole 11 of young players. And when you look at it, you got world record fees on goalkeepers. You've got a midfield that contains the likes of Kante, Kovacic, all these fellas in there. You know, Barkley's not young, like Pedro, Willian, they're not young. Hudson-Odoi's been injured for most of the season. Like, they're not a young team. Giroud up top with Tam, that's not that young. Like, I find it a little bit of a myth around Chelsea and around the youth in their team compared to us. Anyway, I think we've got as much, if not more, and better youth. Mason Greenwood's better than anyone coming through at Chelsea at the minute. But having said that, Chelsea do have a history of having very good, talented youth players coming through. They haven't used them a lot over the years. But Frank Lampard is somebody that will use them in the future, and he may make that gateway for them. So he has to be respected for that. But I feel it's a bit overplayed, all that stuff. I mean, in my opinion as well, like, you know, our youngsters are as good, if not better. Henderson's been better than Pickford this season. I think he has. Yeah, mate, Ross, I agree. Pickford's shit, man. I don't believe the hype around Jordan Pickford at all. I don't believe the hype around him. I think he's trash. He's not good enough for England. He's probably not good enough for Everton. I think Ancelotti will probably figure him out sooner or later. Get rid. I think it'll be a situation like with Pep and Joe Hart. I think everyone in England saw Joe Hart as this amazing goalkeeper. And as soon as a decent manager come in, he was like, what the fuck is this idiot? And I think Carlo Ancelotti is going to be the same with Jordan Pickford. He's going to come in and be like, decent shot stopper at times, but got a mistake in him far too often. And if Everton want to be battling for Europa League, Champions League spots, which I'm sure they will with the manager that you're getting, then for me, they'll change goalkeeper sooner rather than later. Quick recap, says Daniel. To be honest with you, we haven't spoken about much else other than United making a Henderson decision. At least that's the reports in the British press. It originated from ESPN and was taken on then by the Mail and the Sort. And according to reports, United decided to allow Dean Henderson to stay at Sheffield. Well, to continue out on loan. It doesn't categorically say Sheffield United, but you assume that it's Sheffield United. And he could be continuing his development at Bramall Lane. It wouldn't make sense taking him out of Sheffield United and sending him somewhere else. Ross doesn't think he's not good enough. He was one of the best players at the World Cup. Fair, but nevertheless, I don't think he's good enough in the long run. Al says Hart's decline is quite sad. Pep ruined his life. Wonder where he'll end up next season. Is he still at West Ham? Zahid, nice one, brother. No worries, man. The views will come. The views will come. Build it, and they will come. And we're going to continue to build it here. I have a little bit of a few regrets with this channel over the years. In the last 7 years, I should have been caning it with this channel, and it should already be on like 200-300k. I know that, but I didn't put the work in because I was focused on full-time Devils. Now I've got time to put it into this. I'm still going to be doing stuff for full-time Devils with Steve, with Paddock, and all that. But this is my priority now, and this is going to get pushed, and we're going to making content every single week, every single day, and we're going to see where we take it. So if you're here for the ride, thank you very much. Subscribe, enjoy the ride, and subscribe. Get joining if you can, get liking, commenting, sharing, and get your super chats in, and we're going to continue to grow this shit, man. I remember at one point under Fergie, Carrick wasn't getting the respect he deserved. Eventually he did. Do you think any player post Fergie might be the same? I think Herrera was underappreciated. I think Zlatan's impact and his departure probably went a little bit underappreciated. I think that was massive for Jose in terms of controlling the dressing room. I think having someone there that believes in the manager and believes in what they've done and has been successful under them is massive for other players then. Once he lost that, it's kind of like, Mourinho said what? And you haven't got that. Then Zlatan saying, oh yeah, it's probably right. Or, you know, wow, we did this before. Wow. You got that example there, that evidence of someone that's done it. And I genuinely think when he lost that, he lost a bit more of the dressing room. Nimai has joined us late. Nimai. Prakar, thank you, bro. He was trying to get a transfer to Leeds. Is that Joe Hart? He isn't better than De Gea. No way. Good young prospect, talented and got a bit of experience now. But no way will he overtake De Gea, says Chris. I think we've got a replacement there, though. Regardless of whether you think he'll be better than De Gea, I think De Gea has been one of the best goalkeepers in the world for, you know, a large part of his career. He's probably not at the moment, but he has been. And you've got to take that into consideration when judging where Dean Henderson will go. But I think there was times when I remember, you know, Peter Schmeichel was the goalkeeper for most of my life growing up. And then I remember in '99, we had to replace him. And then we didn't really know where to go. We went to Bosnich and Bartes eventually come in. And we had a few players here and there. And it was just a bit all over the shop. And eventually we settled down once we got Van der Sar. Tim Howard had a good spell for a little bit, went to shit, but it's a difficult position to fill, and it looks like we'll be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? With Dean Henderson, so that's great. Ronnie Gillet, how you doing, mate? Or Gillet. Patrick Gearing, how you doing, mate? In Malaysia. ATL's in the house. Nice one, brother or sister, whoever you are. Thank you for watching. Any more stories or anything I've missed out on? We've made it this far without the electric man coming. Fingers crossed we can make it to the end of the show. Baru, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Adam, we need a propaganda for the show. I suggest Road to Tony Marshall's Ballon d'Or. Road to activating the release clause in Tony Marshall's Ballon d'Or. Not the release clause, the clause. Ballon d'Or clause. So yesterday, guys, I bought Football Manager the other day. And I started playing with it. So what I do first is I play with Manchester United just to get to grips with the new game, the new things and everything. So I started with Man United. To my surprise, we had already got Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, Aaron. Like they started with those players in place in the summer. And then I had 50 mil left, so I bought Thomas Partey for like 30 mil. I like rattled I rattled Atletico's cages in the media, got him, and then I got Deo Upamecano. Yeah, sold Matic for 15 mil, sold Andres Pereira for 15 mil, got Deo Upamecano for 32.5. Then last day of the transfer window, I promised Thomas Partey I'd buy an attacker. I don't know why. So I thought, shit, I need to do this. So I asked the board, I made a request for them to make me to get me Jadon Sancho. Bro, they got him like that in an hour. Football Manager ain't realistic. Jadon Sancho was signed up like that. Quick time, 90 million deal. So we had Sancho, Partey, Deo Upamecano in my first window. Won the first game of the season 4-2 against Leicester. The next game, I lost 2-0 away to Everton. And I'll tell you what happened. 2 days before the game, Sancho gets injured for a week. Marshall gets injured for a week. Marshall had just scored all 4 goals against Leicester, injured for a week. Rashford gets a knock, injured. So I had a front three of Danny James. Mason Greenwood had already got injured in pre-season. Like, it was all over the place. I lost that game 2-0. Ah, man. I did see Jadon Sancho and that Trent stuff. I was going to include it in United Daily today, but I thought it's like he's been doing touch a hat if you go in Liverpool, drink water if you go in United, flirting with everyone online. I think it's just messing around, to be honest. And it'd be great if he knows he's going to United and he's just playing with Liverpool fans' emotions. He'd be doing us a favour, wouldn't he? Bartes' decision making at times is like a toddler. I just hated the games against Arsenal. His first season, I think, wasn't actually too bad. won the league and all that, made a few ricks, and then it just went to shit for him, man. I don't want my keeper doing kick-ups. Yeah, I don't like doing it with United because by season 2 I'm like winning the quadruple there, but I tried to do it with once I figured it out, I'll grab like a low team, like someone in Division 2, 3 and try and bring them up or something. I've never celebrated so hard at a video game until this quarantine, says 80. Ross loves Football Manager even though he got the sack once. He knows exactly what he's doing. Why would Liverpool sign him anyway? He wouldn't start every game and they won't spend that much on a squad player, says Al. I reckon Liverpool, well, depending on what the situation is with transfers, possibly gonna sell like Mane or Salah or someone and then reinvest that money elsewhere. I can see that happening very, very soon. Would hate to see Partey go to Arsenal for 40 mil, says Aaron. Yeah, I hope he doesn't go there. Grealish for 50 mil would be a quality addition, says Notorious. I would love Grealish at United. That would be amazing. Won the Champions League with Salford City and Football Manager, says Nimai. Not bad. And Anthony's got in late. And just a recap for you people that have joined us late. I've got to shoot now because we've got to shoot with D for Straight Up, which is going to be released later on today. And we're doing our dream transfer windows, so ins and outs, realistic ones. I say dream, but it's going to be realistic. But yeah, guys, get hitting that subscribe button, get liking, get commenting, get sharing. Just to recap, the reports today in the British press coming from ESPN have United have made a decision on Dean Henderson's future and will loan him out again for the next season, likely to be to Sheffield United, where he will continue his development as he has done so well this season. So that's the latest news in regards to Manchester United. We will keep you up to date with everything else, so make sure you're keeping it locked. Straight Up MUFC coming later on today. We've got another video coming tomorrow. And of course on Sunday you will have the Pod to Nowhere with me and Steve, as well as United Daily Live every single day at 12 o'clock. So guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Like, comment, share, subscribe and join if you can. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here. Actually, before I go as well, a few of you have bought the Viva Regalo shirts. It's a nice one. Well done. Thank you very much, guys. Peace.